if you run out of your name brand prescription, GLP-1 medication, because of a shortage, and you don't move to compound, when you get a hold of your prescription again after the shortage, do you have to start over in dose? Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantastical weight loss journey. Hopefully you'll come along for the ride. And today I'm going to be talking about shortages and what happens when you can't get a hold of your medication. Because unfortunately, this is the situation that we're in. And it's not the first time this has happened. This happened last year. But for many of us who started our journey either at the end of last year or at the beginning of this year, right, 2024, we're experiencing the shortage for the first time. So if you don't move to compound and you need your insurance to cover, right, name brand, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever, and you can't get it for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time, and then you are able to get it, do you have to start over with your dosing? There are a couple of things that you're going to want to take into consideration here, and the first of which is,
I am not a doctor. You need to talk about this with your doctor. Everybody's health conditions are different. I'm going to give you generalized advice, but you really need to talk to your doctor first.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, one thing that you need to consider is, are you someone who had extreme side effects during your titration journey, right, as you went up in doses? If the answer is yes, then you definitely need to talk to your doctor about, hey, I've been off of the medication for X amount of weeks and I just got my prescription filled. What do I do? Because what they may have you do is start out at a lower dose just to ensure that you're not, arbitrarily making yourself sick for no reason. Especially if you are someone who has been without the medication for months, right? That's going to have a huge impact. So definitely talk to your doctor about that. The other thing you're going to want to consider is how long you've been on the medication. From the research that I've done in the support groups, it appears to me that people who were on their medication for longer, when they went a month or less without the medication and then got a prescription filled, they were able to start at their regular dose and be okay. Because, right, they had already had months and months and months and months of already being on the medication, so they were able to jump back in and be okay. Again, it's going to depend on how long you went without the medication, but it's also going to depend on how long you were on it. For somebody who was only on the medication for a month or two, and then the shortage started, and then they went months without the medication, right? That's when you really need to get with your doctor and say, hey, do we need to start this over? And it may be that you started over, but you don't necessarily have to go to the very first dose. Or it may be that you can do, a modified schedule where you're doing, maybe 2 weeks at the first dose, 2 weeks at a second dose, right? And you and your doctor can kind of plan that out based on your own health conditions. I know that this is a really challenging time for people, and there's a lot of anxiety around getting your medication. I know for me, there's always a lot of anxiety, right? Calling around to pharmacies, especially if you're somebody who's really relying on your insurance to cover this, and it's going to compound and paying out of pocket is not an option for you. I get it. I totally get it. If you haven't watched my video about my most recent instance where I got lucky and was able to get my prescription filled, please go check that out. We still don't have a definite end date as far as the when the shortage is going to end. I know that there is a huge push right now for them to release the vials, so we'll see if they do that. The best thing we can do is just keep talking about it. The more we talk about it, the more we talk about it online, the more we call in and complain to customer service, the bigger stink we raise, right? The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So just keep talking about it. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like. It definitely helps. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. Make sure you check out my other videos because I have a lot of helpful tips and tricks. And as always, be kind, rewind.